Sorry, that was so abrupt. My skills are very basic. Ah, welcome back. Welcome back to Alicia. Welcome back to Steve. Welcome back to Amy, to Maria, Anna, Mayanne, Barb. Welcome back. Welcome back. Coming out to Soul, Plant Walker, Firewoman. All right. So our intention, let me stop the share. Our intention in this first day afternoon session is to weave our individual intentions into the container for this spring equinox virtual retreat. So that is our main piece of work. Our second piece of work is to have a discussion about the planets. What is happening astronomically, astrologically in this moment? What is the opportunity and invitation for us? We choose to enter that frame, that way of looking at things. So for that conversation, I'm going to invite Barb to share some of her perspectives when we get there. So before we jump into our intentions, I want to acknowledge Amy is here. And Amy, you weren't on our first call, so you just want to let us hear your voice, say your name, how you want to be called, and anything else you want to say that's brief.
Hi, I'm Amy, and my voice right now is a little weird.
It's beautiful.
I'm recovering from COVID and subsequent AFib episodes. I'm just so glad to be alive.
Yes.
At this time, and particularly at this time. Amazing time to be alive.
Thank you. Thank you. Look at my little notes here. What did I say? Okay, yes. So I wanted to start us off with a little bit of a meditation before we jump into sharing our intentions with each other. So I'm just going to lead us in something very simple and brief. So if you could put your feet on the ground. Really feel your feet. If standing helps you to feel them better, feel free to stand. If you want to change anything about your current position, if you want to sit with your butt on the ground, just feel free to do that. So we're starting off with that feeling of our feet on the ground. And then we're allowing our attention to travel up from our feet to our knees, checking in with the back of our knees, and then traveling up to our hips, to the crease between our thighs and our hips, joint. And then we're traveling up to our navel center, to your belly button. And then allow your attention to travel up to your heart center, to the center of your chest. And then sending your attention from there to your throat center, a little divot in between your collarbone. Finally to your brow point, your mid-brow point, and your third eye. And send your attention to the crown of your head, just an inch above the top of your head. Feeling into that area, send your attention there. I'm going to invite you to take a couple of audible sighs. So breathing in through your nose and just sighing audibly. Anything that you might want to shake out, inhaling again through your nose. And then exhaling audibly. And then a final time, inhaling from the soles of your feet all the way up to the crown of your head. And exhaling, letting all the air come out and down through the soles of your feet. Yeah. And then take a few moments to actually feel your body. So actually, when you cross and feel that, that's actually a pressure point. It's actually one of those powerful, pleasurable. Give that to yourself, that self-hug. Just pick some points in your body, the inner thighs that don't get much of your attention, pressing in, feeling in to your physical body, present to it. Finding those spots. Yeah, because we are bodies, we're consciousness and we're bodies, and we get into trouble when we leave our bodies. All right. So here we are. So I want to say our intentions are imperfect. They could evolve over the course of this retreat, and you may have more than one. And our intention by sharing them in this group is for us to hold them, to amplify them, to root them. So there's no judgment. And this is a choice. So if you choose not to share all of your intentions, that's fine. If you in fact don't want to share anything out loud, I respect that choice. All right. And so we're going to do this on the basis of who's ready. So, and I'm going to be writing because I want to hold them all tactily as well as in the ethers. So who would like to start us off? Who is willing to start us off? Just unmute yourself.
I'm willing to go first.
Thank you.
And I'm a little more awake than at the 6 a.m. Zoom meeting. I'm in California. And yeah, thank you for sharing this morning. One thing that really stuck with me is when you said like the isness of the trees. Mm-hmm. And how they said like what trauma and just breathing in joy and mm-hmm. So and breathing out joy. So so my intention is to let pain, shame, guilt pass through and not get stuck, and breathe in joy and breathe out joy. Because actually I would, if it's okay to I right after the Zoom meeting, I have sheep, and one of my sheep had a dead lamb this morning right after the Zoom meeting. So I had to call the vet, and it was stuck, and we had to pull out the lamb. So it's just, there's so much, there's life is full of horrible things, like it's just life is full of death and things falling apart, and still finding joy and it not getting stuck. I think it's moving it through our bodies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing. You said the lamb died?
The lamb didn't make it. It was stuck.
Stuck.
the legs were back and the head was out and it was already dead. At that point, we just had to get it out of mom so that mom can survive. But now she's sad because she doesn't have a baby.
Right, 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 right. Thank you. Mm. Mm.
But she has friends.
Mm. Thank you, Anna. It's a powerful way to start us off.
Sorry.
No, it's a powerful way to start us off. It really is. Thank you. Hmm. Who's next?
I'll go next.
Thank you. Lyanne?
Thank you. My first intention, which probably I don't think needs to be said, but I care enough about it, is to be nourished. I'm just so connected to that as part of these days, since it's a challenge for me. So I wanted to put that. But what I've come to over the course of the day is to focus deep within, allowing myself to receive guidance, release fear, and embrace the initial steps of big changes.
You said allow guidance, release fear, and what else?
Embrace the initial steps of big changes.
Embrace initial steps. Gotcha. Mm-hmm. 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 Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
I could be the next one.
Thank you, Maria.
I have three intentions. I had a long walk after the meeting. In the afternoon for me. It's already evening in Austria. And I'm pretty nervous and anxious right now. So my first intention is just to get rid of this tension, as to release this tension. And when I was on my walk, something came into my mind. It was like finding balance between of taking and giving. Yeah, because I think I'm sometimes hard for me to take. And the third one is one of your suggestions, Emanita. I really liked. It's what do I really, really want. So.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I'm glad you got to take a long walk.
Yes.
I can go next. My sharing comes with a bit of a preamble, so kind of bear with me. I recognize that I'm the elder here, and knowing that, I wanted to share these initial thoughts, which is that I'll just have to read. But keeping to myself and internalizing is my normal, comfortable position. my desire is to become more forthcoming, open, and sharing. As I grow older, my focus changes to my demise. My goal is to die with my eyes wide open, to be present at my passing on. Being present and recognizing who I am and what I've become and done with my long life at this time. Sharing now on a personal level facilitates my desire to be more open. I have a spiritual bent leaning toward Buddhism tradition, practicing being present in the moment, letting go of the past and the future, regret and desire, judgments and projections, allowing spontaneity. So my goal for this retreat is spontaneity.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I also have lots of nervousness, mostly around employment. I am employed, but trying to find time for all of the things that I love. I even love my job. However, I can't do everything. And there are some things that I really, really, really want to do. Writing is at the top of the list. And it's such a struggle to find time for it. So my intention is to make time to write, and at the same time to try to do something about the nervousness of having to balance that desire with getting up, going to work.
Mm, mm. And this weekend, are you going to be getting up and going to work?
No.
Okay. Great. Good to know. Thank you, Alicia. Tomorrow's all about writing, by the way.
So my intentions are, I have two, one for each of my Gemini twins. One is to lean into holding better space for myself and my own transformation. And I think that translates to listening, just simply listening. And that then translates to listening to my heart. So maybe that's another way to say, ask, what do I really want? But just a practice that I want to be a deep habit of listening and shifting the way I do that. And then I want to discover, this is the question I asked myself. If I could uncover, let's see, how did I write it down? What am I not letting go of that if I let go of would change everything? What am I not seeing that I need to let go of, or feeling that I need, if I did that, it would change everything?
Mm. Mm. Wow. Sounds good. Sounds bold. Let's see. Oh, Amy.
My first intention is to, I guess the best way to say it is to be kind to myself. And that includes slowing down it's kind of funny, slowing down and taking care of my health, but also recognizing that some of the health issues that I have, are related to aging, and yeah, just understanding the difference between healing and curing. But I think just not being hard on myself. So that's one. And the other is to be braver and bolder about co-creating the wild church that I don't know what to say, I'm stewarding or something. And a lot of that means listening to the land, listening to the community of beings on this land, and listening to my heart. And I guess last but not least, to stop worrying. And I guess, it's good. Probably doesn't make sense to have a sort of a negative goal. So, I mean, I think it's more like recognizing that I am always held in love, always, even when bad things happen, and that suffering is part of life, but that I'm always held in love. Yeah, just remembering that as much as I can.
Thank you. Thank you. It's really beautiful. I'm going to share my intentions out loud, and then I'm just going to speak aloud all of them collectively, and we're going to just hold that for just for a few breaths. But of course, I left them in the other room. Like that. So I am intending to experience and to develop extrasensory perception of unlimited love and of the abundance path. I'm intending non-attachment to money. And finally, I am intending to hold the spring equinox virtual retreat with the highest integrity. So out loud, collectively, I'm going to say some words from each of your intentions. So we just hear these key words that we're weaving in together. Let pain, shame, guilt pass through, not get stuck. Breathing in joy, breathing out joy. Being nourished, focusing deep within, allowing guidance, releasing fear, embracing initial steps of big changes. Releasing tension, finding the balance of taking and giving. And what do I really, 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 really want? Opening, spontaneity, making time to write, holding space for myself and listening to my heart as a practice. What am I not letting go of that would change everything if I let go? Being kind to myself, braver and bolder to co-create a wild church. Recognizing I'm always held in love. Sounds like a good place to be. So let's take in the big breath. And if you could raise your hands out and really, so we're like physically bringing this in. So inhaling up, exhaling, bringing it to the heart. Inhaling up, exhaling, bringing it to the heart. Yes. One more time. Inhaling, bringing it up. Exhaling, bringing it down into the heart. And into all the other chakras down there. Yes. Seeding them in our energetic womb places. Yes. Okay. So now we're going to talk about this planetary moment. And I want to make sure you know this. Tomorrow morning, we're back together at 9 a.m. here using this Zoom account, but we're not going to come back together at 4 p.m. Tomorrow, our day of release, of grief, is really a day of a lot of quiet. So you'll see in my email that'll come to you later tonight, the suggestions I have for what you do tomorrow. I am available to you. I will make sure that you have my email, of course. You can always reply. But if you want to text me at any point during the day, you can also do that. I'm not trying to leave you stranded, but I do want to really make us a spacious day. So that's the announcement about tomorrow. All right, and your replay and resources page has what's the theme and what's the work of the day. So you can always go to that too if you ever just want to know what else you could be doing or should be doing or thinking about. Okay, so now let's talk about planets. I'm going to let Barb start us off. Barb is a alchemical hypnotherapist. This woman is wearing so many hats, and is also someone who is a student of astrology. And one of the things that's going to happen over the course of our time together on Sunday is she's going to, our Sunday session will focus on how to look at your astrological chart and look for the clues about your life purpose and your resources to carry that out. But today, we're just going to talk about what's happening in the sky right now and what that opportunity is for us on the verge of the spring equinox. So Barb.
Thank you, Dr. A. And it's my delight to share this with you. And I believe we're all feeling the energies of the time, and it's moving through our bodies. And some of us are having physical sensations, headaches and lack of sleep and vertigo, while others of us have a morphine relationship with time, and it's all happening with us and to us. So it's really truly is, I think you said it, Anna, an extraordinary time to be alive and tapping into that evolutionary. There's no other human beings since the beginning of time that have been in this alignment. I always like to start these with you writing down this number. Write down 4,200,000. 4,200,000. That's how many years between the exact moment of your amazing birth there needs to be for the alignment of the stars to be exactly what they were when your soul graced the earth. It's a long time. So I say that because I want you to feel the specialness that you are through the cosmos, that you really are unique and you're special, and your soul is here to do something, and the cosmos and the planets are here to support you. So it's good to remember when we talk, it's easy to get into the language of astrology and the planets and everything, but what I want you to get from this is not so much the literal logistics, but the energy of the planets and the time. And it affects us because it's easy to understand how we're Earth. We have Earth in our bodies. We have carbon and hydrogen in our bodies. We have water in our bodies. We have fire in our bodies. We have air, wood, and metal in our bodies. We are made of earth, but we're also made of stardust. Stars are made of oxygen and helium and carbon and hydrogen, the same things our bodies are. So we're also made of the stars. And this amazing web of life and light energy that's always weaving and interacting and playing and co-creating and evolving with us. So I'm going to speak about some of the major energies that are working us right now. You may have heard of some of the terminologies. As these planets go around the sun and the solar system, just like the Earth does, and they have their own timing and their own intersection as the planets move through the zodiac signs in different years. There's just a special alignment of them right now, and some of them. So one of the planets that is out there and active, and I like to follow because it also has to do with your life purpose, is Mr. Saturn. Saturn is the farthest planet that we can see out in the solar system with the naked eye. So it's a planet about boundaries, because it's a boundary between the personal planets and the interpersonal planets. But it moves through a zodiac sign. So a zodiac sign would be something like Gemini or Pisces or Capricorn every 2.5 years. And it spent the last 2.5 years in Capricorn, and it just moved into Pisces on March 7th. And that's a pretty significant energetic shift, and you might already be feeling it. It's going to stay in Pisces till May 24th of 2025. So you have 2.5 years of this energy. So I'll just give you some qualities. There are these archetypal patterns of Saturn and the archetypal patterns of Pisces. And I'm going to put in the chat 7 ways that you can connect with this energy when I'm done with this particular alignment. So Saturn helps us. You can think of Saturn as kind of a fatherly love in terms of helping us set a foundation. It's doing all the hard work, the discipline, the commitment, the perseverance, the dedication, the ambition, and boundary setting to set a foundation. The last time that Saturn was in Pisces was 30 years ago, in 1993 to 1996. And you can go back to that time in your life and think about what you might have cracked open in terms of a dream, a project, something that was a desire, because that's about Pisces, is your dreaming, your possibilities, what's possible, and see what cracked open for you personally, what maybe you started that 30 years now later you can continue. A lot of things happened in the world between 1993. It's when the anti-apartheid movement in South Africa happened, the civil war with Rwanda. There was a lot of movement towards freedom and liberation, hard fought in that time period. So Pisces is about your dreams, what's possible, what do you really want, what do you really need? And Saturn is helping us look at what's not serving us to make those dreams, what's not in our foundation, what are we not cultivating? It can feel like a taskmaster. What do we need to let go of? What do we need to start doing or stop doing in order to make our dreams and possibilities come true? So I loved all of your intentions, and they're up, and it's good to know that the sky, the cosmos, is supporting your dreams and your desires. And also in service of the collective. That's the most important thing to remember about these times right now, is anything that's not in service of the whole, the collective, is going to cause us suffering. So in particular, this weekend and this shift initially is Saturn's in Pisces is helping us look at boundaries, where we have barriers or limits or rules. And it's playing with our relationship with time and our perception of reality. So I don't know if any of you, I know I've got this weird relationship with time. I lose it, and it's just a warping relationship, because Saturn is Chronos. He's the master of time in the sky. But what this work is doing is helping us to become more elastic and more permeable than the last 2.5 years. Saturn was in Capricorn. Capricorn is about governance and rules and rigidity and policies. So hopefully you'll begin to feel this sort of relaxing compared to the energy of the last 3 or 4 years, which has been a lot of dissolution of the systems and the things in place that truly are no longer serving humanity. So there's an opening with Pisces, Saturn and Pisces. There's a more compassionate approach. There's definitely asking you to cultivate and connect with your intuition, your heart, with a softened rigidity there. The shadow side of this alignment is that your boundaries can completely disintegrate. So if boundaries is a touchy subject for you, it's going to be a wonderful time to look at them, where you're holding them, where you want to hold them, where you're not, and trusting your ability to discern and think for yourself, to really trust your own intuition and think for yourself. It's also going to ask you to stay grounded, to stay grounded, to stay grounded. So Pisces can be in la la land, if you will, dreamy, but to manifest that, you really have to stay in your body, in your emotions, and in your breath. And to really choose what it is you want to live by and commit to those boundaries, if you will. So part of the dreaminess of this time is we're going to get the push to dream and think what's possible, but we may not get the clarity and the certainty that we're used to or that we like. I think you guys might know what I mean, is when you get this push, this urge to go do something, like say, write a book, we can get carried off into, well, I have to know who's going to read it and how I'm going to sell it and all these things in order to even start the creative process of writing. And so I want the energy out there is saying, don't worry about that. Just start, just create, just step through that threshold, just dream, take the first step, and don't let any of the rest of that for the next 2.5 years stop you from what you're here to do. So that's with compassion, that is Saturn in Pisces. The other really big alignment out there is Pluto is moving into Capricorn. Sorry, Pluto is moving into Aquarius on March 27th. And this is a really big deal because Pluto takes a really, really long time to do its orbit. And so Pluto was in Capricorn, and Pluto went into Capricorn in 2008. And you might remember what happened in 2008. When Pluto walks into the room, nothing looks the same. It's the transformation planet. It is the phoenix rising. It is the caterpillar turning into the butterfly. It is the dark night, I like to say, of the ego, because it's those identities we're leaving behind and all of the web of life that they're associated with in service of what is yet to be, what your destiny, what you really came here to do. But the caterpillar doesn't know it's going to turn into a butterfly. So in that transition, there are these moments of surrender, and we're kind of in one of these sort of breaths of surrender. So Pluto is going to go into Aquarius until June of this year. Then it pops back out, but then it pops back in for 40 more years till 2044, which is probably the rest of all of our lives. So it is going to be the energy that we're going to be in for the rest of our lives, but it's an amazing energy because Aquarius is about community, the collective, the whole. The individual is whole, and it's contributing to the whole of the community. So it's about reorganizing the power, your internal power, how you govern your own life, but the power out there, the wealth, the power, the security, the mystery, the shadow, and the journey of reestablishing a power balance for the collective to reclaim its power. So for all the movements that we care about and the planet that we love so deeply, this is good news, but we have to show up for it to happen. Pluto is this force that tells you that life itself is unstoppable. It's an unstoppable force. And rebirthing, we are literally rebirthing ourselves, so it can feel like we're in a birth canal sometimes, which is not a great place to be. And yet we're actually going to come out as a fragile, a new life, if you will, a new baby in that sense. So in service of working with Pluto and Aquarius for yourself, it's going to the deepest, most inner parts of yourself and making space to listen to the subterranean voices, your guides, your deepest desires that can't compete with the busyness of life and the doing and the going. You really have to stop and listen and go inward and trust. It's cultivating a very deep trust of that voice, opening that door and letting you know what's no longer needed. That trust is, I can really let that go. Some people like to say we are being given permission to let go of our Piscean age contract and sign a new contract with the Aquarius energy. It's a fancy way to say whatever stories, traumas, beliefs that we have gotten to our life thus far, that's gotten us here, we can let those go. And we can heal and change and evolve at a much quicker pace because we're in air energy now. We're in an era of air energy. All the planetary alignments are happening in air. And things move fast. You know, when smells move through the air like that, technology, light, frequencies, energy moves through air very quickly compared to the last 200 years where we were in earth density. And earth takes a lot of time for change to happen. If you think about planting a garden and weeding a garden, you have to wait months for the harvest. So our healing can happen very fast. And change is going to happen fast, and information is going to be coming quickly. But in that speed, we're actually being asked to cultivate, again, that heart energy and have that grounding, being centered and grounded so that we can discern. Discernment is a big deal. Again, what some of my mentors like to call the true fight with a capital T. As all this misinformation and the disintegration is still happening out there, we want to be able to discern and know from our own intuition what is the true fight. And how do you know what the true fight is? It's in service of the collective. It's holism. It's valuing everybody. So it's not, if you're in your heart, it's not difficult to understand what the true fight is with a capital T versus the stuff that's led by fear. We are moving into an era that is motivated and fueled by love. Truly with the Age of Aquarius song. So in closing, let's see. The last time Pluto was in Aquarius like this was in 1777 and 1798. And while none of us were around, perhaps some of our ancestors were, that was literally the birth of the United States of America. So the United States of America is literally going through a dark night of its identity. And it's not, you can see it all around you. And so this energy, we're going through another rebirth, if you will, and it's going to demand our full effort, and we can't do it alone. We really can't do it alone. So one of my guides likes to say, we are creating new earth, but we have to create it in ourselves first, our inner worlds. We've spent 200 years out there and we're going inward to create a new earth inside, which requires connection to joy and beauty, not just the pain and the grieving. There absolutely has to be joy and beauty in this co-creation. And we're creating it, it's inside of us so that what happens out there is also changed. Eckhart Tolle had a quote, it says, what the future holds for you depends on your state of consciousness, how much you're grounded in your own heart, in your own intuition, in your own alignment to create this new world. as we redefine our relationship with time and gravity. I'm going to put in the chat here, if you guys know how to save the chat. Here. There are 7 steps to work with, or 7 areas, not steps, just areas to work with Saturn and Pisces, and then 5 to work with Pluto in Aquarius, and there's an overlap there. If any of those resonate with you while you're on this retreat or for the next 2.5 years, your life, please embrace them. If you can't get them in the chat, I can send them to Dr. A. But you'll
Yeah.
see a lot of them overlap with some of the energies we're talking about, and I could read them, but I don't want to take any more time, Dr. A.
What we can do is, yes, if you email them to me, I'll put them in the email that's going out tonight to everybody. And then feel free to work with this as it feels right for you. We're going to come back
Yeah.
to planets on Sunday. So tomorrow may not be the day for you to look at this, or it might be the day for you to look at it. So
I'll say,
but I'll have it in the email.
Can you share it in the chat with everyone? I didn't get it in the chat.
Yeah, I don't see it
anybody-
either.
Maybe I didn't hit return. There we go.
Oh, perfect.
I'll
Thank
say one more thing. If you don't feel like this is a new beginning, maybe you will. So the new moon and the equinox is in Aries. The new moon and Aries is the first zodiac sign in the celestial system. So it's a beginning. It's a beginning that way. There are 6 objects and planets at 0 degrees. So you go 0 to 30 degrees. That's a beginning. There are 6 or 7 objects on the world axis, the north node, which again is another astrological sign of a beginning. So this is really a quantum leap into something new energetically, like being a whole new human being. So really take the opportunity to tap in. What does that mean for me? For me to be a whole new human being that is aligned with my heart and my desires and my intuition, because the cosmos is really out there holding us to live that way. If you can think that sort of big and magical. Thank you, Dr. A.
Thank you. I'm glad we have it on the recording too. So if there's anything that Barb said that you want to hear again, you'll find it on the replay resource page. Okay, but let's go ahead and open it up. I want to hear, we have about 7 minutes left for our time. I'd just love to hear what's resonating, what's happening. There's a word that captures how you're feeling, what's opening, anything of that nature. Welcome, Michael Germanis. Thank you so much. I'm glad you were able to make it after all. And we'll come back to you. Oh, you're driving. Yeah. All right. We'll hear your voice at the end then. Okay. So what's any words for you have for what's resonating, what's opening, what's happening? Could be about the intentions that you heard, that you said, or anything that Barb has said about this moment.
I'll jump in. You mentioned Eckhart Tolle in my search for my intention. I did come across one of his quotes as well, and it is, joy doesn't come from what you do, it flows into what you do, and thus into this world from deep within you. And thank you for this is totally part of my intention, and what you just said, a lot of that is it's just confirming that. Thank you. I love astrology, so I appreciate it.
Well, I think we're all right where we're supposed to be, and we're all right on time, and I'm grateful for that.
I saw Lyanne unmuted herself. Did you have something to share, Lyanne?
I did. I just wanted to say that I'm really grateful for having time, even though I can't participate tomorrow as fully as I want. I'm so glad to have time set aside for more than a day to be able to dive into this, because it makes it feel more possible. And I'm curious and hopeful to see where, what I'll be saying and what will have opened by Tuesday morning.
Yes. Beautiful. Michael, this was our time to weave in intentions. I received a recording from Joyce, but I want you to go first. If you can, say something out loud from where you are right now.
Yeah, I parked the car.
Okay, great.
So, and actually, about my intentions, I missed the first half of the call, and it sounded so great when I jumped in, and it seemed to really resonate with what's going on with me right now. Because and I wrote my intentions down, and I know I'm just gonna. Okay, so a lot at the heading was being myself. I'm learning from my past and present. But the number one intention to kind of help see that through is exercising what I'm going to call invisibility or invisibility or invisibleness, in which if I close my eyes, no one can see me. And so I want to do a little more of this because I'm intending to do that only because it holds me back when I'm worried about what people think that are seeing in me. I want to release my conventions and my thoughts and live in my intuition I know that's a lot to say for a short session, but this is work that I think is going to be really key for me right now. Very self-inflicting attack, exercise invisibility, release my conventions to help me be myself and not worry about all the other stuff that I worry about after I think about what I want to do. And then I don't do it because I thought about it. So that's it.
Love that. Thank you. Not worried about other people. Got it. I like that. That's so interesting. Exercise invisibility. One of my teachers talks about cloaking.
Mm.
And sometimes when we're bringing something forth, we need to cloak ourselves so that we only attract the people who resonate with that idea, that bud, that vision in its very early stage.
Yes.
That's interesting. Great. I want to weave in Joyce Washington, who couldn't join us today, but she sent me a audio message.
Hello, Dr. Amanda. It's Joyce, and I'm late. So if this doesn't get to be included, I'm good with that. My intention for this retreat is to focus on rest. To focus on rest. To focus on rest.
Okay. I don't know if y'all heard that, but it was deep. And if you know Joyce Washington, you know that this is pulling her out of her routine to focus on rest. So we weave that in, weaving in Joyce and Michael's intentions into this container. May it be so. May it be so. May it be so. All right. So we'll see you all tomorrow at 9. There will be no 4 o'clock call. You are, of course, welcome to check in with me via email or text throughout the day. And the reason why there's no 4 o'clock call is because I got a very strong message to not do that tomorrow. So it was an intuitive thing, and I am saying yes to these hits. So that's what's going on. All right. Love you all. Seriously. Honestly. All right.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye, Bria. Thanks for being here. Bye, Alcia. Thanks for being here, Lyanne. Make sure you check that replay page because those all the meditations, anything you can do on your own time, you'll find it there.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right.
I
Bye-bye.
checked it already before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.